it's a current matter. Like, it doesn't matter if you have a higher position or a lower position, as long as it's you're doing this out of what really you love what you're doing. You know, it's like you feed people who are you are leading, or I mean, how can you become a leader, which is 10% of the world? Let's say, for example, I'm not sure about it. If you don't have followers, you know, the 90%. I mean, you don't have that kind of unique character as a leadership if you don't find your followers. Your followers, how you need to get your followers is just they need to love you and love them back. You need to have a good goal that doesn't hurt anyone.
Anyone else?
I guess a leader needs to have like a clear vision of the world, like something they want to, do or achieve, right? But anyone can be a leader. It's a world issue with like anything and everything, right? So it's mostly about a clear vision that you want to achieve, and other people will jump on board because if it's a great thing, then people will, also like it and try to, follow your lead.
And with one more person.
It's probably about the drive of the person and being a leader. So he has to have that sense of persistence, and he has to have motivation. He has to believe what he's doing is correct. So he has to have the drive that actually motivates himself and people around him to be able to solve an issue. So being a global issue is probably it's too limiting for a person's strength to actually solve the issue. So you need to work with people, and with that drive, as a leader, you can drive people to work on a common goal.
And a lot of these things, and many more things, fall into what ISEC believes is a type of leadership to develop in people. And the type of leadership that we do believe in has four common traits. The first one, being self-awareness. Being able to understand what you're good at, being able to understand what's important to you, and what you're passionate about, and constantly exploring how you can achieve in your life. So being aware about yourself and understanding yourself. Empowering others. So understanding other people, how you communicate your ideas, how you engage with these people, and how you co-create spaces to work with these people and drive these people forward. Solution-oriented, so the actions that you take. Coming up with solutions to challenges rather than running away from them. Being flexible and always ready to take those risks. And always having that resilience to stand back up every time you fall down. And being a world citizen, so understanding the world. Not just traveling the world and saying, oh, I know these countries, these places, but actually understanding what's going on in the world and taking an active role in contributing to it in some kind of way, to making the world a better place. And it's a combination of these four things that ISEC believes is a type of leadership that the youth of the world need in order to address the world's issues. And it's how we believe that we can address the peace and fulfillment of humankind's potential. If every single youth who works with ISEC or goes on an exchange with ISEC, or any business that engages with ISEC, had these four qualities, working together to address the world's issues, imagine what we could achieve. Now, you guys might be wondering how leadership and exchange relate. And I want to do this through an activity. So could I have a volunteer? You want to come up? Clap. Try to keep fingers. And I might need about 3 or 4 more people. Yeah. Just stand over there. So just hang on a second.
Hello.
Sorry, just lost the item. Sorry for that. So, could I have 2 more people? Any 2. You don't have to do much talking.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. Sorry, do you want to come up? You can wait that side. Might need 1 more person just to stand with them. So, I want to ask you, so what are the things that are important to you in your life?
My family.
Okay, cool. So we'll have 4 things.
Yeah.
So your family. How close would you say they are to you? Do you think this streamer has, or how important are they to you?
A lot.
So let me know when to stop.
Okay.
Like the closer it is, the more important. And could one of you come and hold the streamer? So let me know where to stop. Don't go out or in.
Yeah.
In.
Yeah.
You're under? Okay. Can you hold a matter?
Yeah.
And what's the next most important thing to you?
My studies.
Okay. And same thing. And can I get 1 more person to hold it? So how far would that be?
Yeah.
The next thing?
Tennis.
Okay. And how far would that be? Can I get 1 more? Hold it. Around it?
Yeah.
Or more?
Yeah, around that.
And 1 more thing.
Art.
Okay. And you would hold art. So how close will art be to you?
The same.
Same as so that. So you guys want to turn around so they can see. Alright. Now, in being in Sydney, or being in Australia, or being at home in general, you have those things that are close to you. So for, sorry, what was your name?
Sneha.
Sneha, it's family, studies, tennis, and art. And this is considered the comfort zone. In Sydney, she has these things. But when she goes on exchange, she no longer has art, or tennis, or uni, or family. Or they're not in direct contact with her like they are when she's in Sydney. And she's not going to have constant communication with these things, or constant access to these things. And she's going to be forced outside of her comfort zone and to actually challenge herself and experience the different types of things in that new environment. Thanks for that. You guys should sit down. Yeah, you can take on the side. We'll throw it down later. And that's where it actually starts.
Did it stop?
It starts with asking yourself those questions. What's in that comfort zone of yours? And what are you how are you going to move forward and experience the new things and take on those challenges while these things aren't there? And how are you going to face these situations? And through this kind of system, the inner and outer journey, by placing yourself in an outer journey, an external environment, so going in exchange to a brand new country, you're going to experience a lot of difficulties, a lot of challenges, but you'll also have that support system, those goals, and you'll be interacting with countless people and have that challenging environment. And by going through that inner journey of reflection and understanding your situation and where you are, you're going to understand how you're actually challenging yourself and how you're actually developing those leadership qualities. And in this context for you guys, that outer journey is your exchange. And that inner journey is when you look through that development you're going on. Look through that development you're going on while on exchange. Now, I want to just tell you guys a story. So I told you guys at the beginning that I went to Mauritius on my exchange. So I just want to briefly share my story and how I went through this journey and how I'm still going through that journey today. So I did my exchange to Mauritius in November of 2012 to February in 2013. I went to Mauritius and it was a project called Choose Life, Not Drugs. And it was focused on raising HIV and AIDS and drug awareness in the country. So I was working with about a group of 17 people, 9 of them from other countries and 8 of them from local. And the main reason I decided to go on exchange was that I was in my first year of uni at that time, and the biggest regret I had during that first year was that I never actually took that advice a lot of people had given me to actually go out and try new things, and I stuck around my same high school group. And I didn't want to have those regrets later on. So I decided to just pretty much YOLO it. I signed up to this without telling my parents, paid everything, bought my tickets, and then told my parents a few days before I left. And they were kind of forced to go along with it. But to me, it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. And these are the group of people I was working with. There was a mix of people from all over the world, from South America to Europe to Africa to Asia, and even some from Australia. And so my background is Indian. And there were 2 people in this group who were from India. And I'd always heard a lot, like I've been to India, and I've always heard a lot about India, how there's a lot of corruption, stereotypes, pretty much everything, poverty, pollution, everything. But I'd always looked at it from a very external point of view and always assumed a lot of things. And it was actually talking to a few of these people, those 2 Indians, that I actually really started to understand how bad it was in India, and how privileged I was, and how stupid I'd been to assume a lot of those things. And it was also the fact of being on that exchange in Mauritius, hearing about all the people I'd interacted with going through that drug abuse, the issues that actually gone through, and how serious that issue of drugs was in Mauritius. And I realized how bad it was not only in Mauritius, but around the world. And it was when I came back, I actually started to take a more active approach towards drugs, in terms of what I could do to start to help those people who've gone through drug abuse and work towards that. And within that sense, I started to be more open to the world, to understand what was going on in the world, and actually started to take that active approach. So this is a picture of the house that we stayed in. So I was there for about 8 weeks, and we only moved into this house in the 2nd week. In the first week of our exchange, we were actually living in one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in the country. And on, I think, my 4th or 5th day on exchange there, the house was robbed. And several people lost like their wallets and all that, and one girl lost her passport. And when I went going through that, obviously we were all panicking a lot, and we were freaking out because we were all in a new country, we'd all been robbed, and we didn't know what to do and how we could handle it. And it was me, 2 others, and the group of Mauritians who realized that obviously that neighborhood, we couldn't stay there any longer, and we had to find a new place if we wanted to experience this journey without putting in danger to ourselves. And we actually started to call up people around the country, go around and try to find a new place to live. And even though we would have to pay more money, for our safety, we decided we had to do it. And in the end, everything did work out. We got back to the passport, and we kind of shared money around, and it was something we all went through. We panicked a lot through it, but we bounced back straight away, and moved forward. We found a new house, and we forgot about that incident, and laughed every time we thought about it. Again, this is that group of the people I was in exchange with. So these are all the other exchange participants who were with me. And so I was actually the youngest at the time, I was 18, and the oldest in our group was 28. And on our 2nd day there, we had to kind of choose like 2 team leaders of the group to kind of be that communication between our group and the ISEC people there, so that we can clearly find out how to get everywhere in the country, how we can get to work, all that. And for some reason, they decided to make me one of those team leaders. And I had no idea why, because I was the youngest one there. I had no experience. And it was actually that they told me that it was those reasons that I had no experience. This was one of the opportunities for me to push myself and force myself out and actually experience that. And learn about those other people, understand those other people, and understand myself. And being able to empower these other people to do the work and actually commit to what we set out to do initially. And lastly, these two people were the two people I kind of looked up to while I was in exchange. They were pretty much like two brothers to me, and it was these two people who kind of made me reflect a lot throughout the entire exchange. Why I was really there. Why did I decide to go on exchange? Why I was still there, and what I was going to do after, and understanding what I was actually interested in. And it was because of these two people that I actually joined ISEC after.